you ever thought about squishing into the same studio for once? And if you could drag anyone onto this show as a guest, dead or alive, no pressure, who is your dream pick? So that's technically two questions. First one, do you ever want to drag Kevin Nash into a studio?
There were times when I was down. Okay, so when I spend time in Florida, the house is a town away from Kevin. So we'll get together sometime. I generally don't want to bother him. And I don't want to be bothered either. But I brought up in the past going into his studio. But I talked to you about this, Steve, how we would have to do the feed where we'd both be in the studio, like looking at each other. And, I don't know what would that do with the magic. So what did we do? Nothing. One town away, built my studio in the other house, and Kev was in his studio, and we just still did it remotely. Meanwhile, I could go on my roof and throw a rock and hit his studio probably. But so we did talk about it. Tal, was that Tal the question?
Yes, Tal was true.
Oh, Tal, that we did talk about it. We never did it. It may happen someday still.
I think it's more likely if a promoter can come up with the money that you and Kev could wind up on a stage somewhere. That feels more likely because then we could sell tickets.
Well, the thing is, we did that great Starcade one, which I thought went not Starcade.
Starcast.
What the fuck was that called? Starcast in Nashville when we first got this show, and it was fun. It was great. I think it was the best one. It was the best one. It was the best one of any of the live shows, clearly. But when you are a promoter and you want to bring Kev out, you want a lot of things signed, So for a promoter to get Kevin Nash money worth, I destroyed that grammar right there. But you know what I'm talking about. Yeah. You're not just going to stick him on a stage and charge some admission. You're going to pack a freaking line out the door. But maybe they can combine it. I'm waiting I've talked to promoters before, and most times, before I even really go to Kev, the deal. It's held together with Scotch tape, But any serious promoter that wants to bring us out to a club to do a live show, and they could do meet and greet afterwards, he'll sign your stuff for you too.
Yeah.
I mean, put it together. We'll always consider it. We've always talked about doing it. It's fun. It would be fun. I like doing live shows.
If any of those people are listening, I believe it's kliqthispodcast@gmail.com.
Yeah, reach out.
kliqthispodcast@gmail.
Or me. We're on socials. Hit us anywhere.
We are open. Dugan, we might wind up cutting this question because it might be a non-answer.
Oh.
Ask Sean, ballpark, what would it cost to book you and Kev for a live event?
Depends on a lot of factors. What are we doing? Is it just the show? Is there a signing attached to it with Kevin? Is he going to have to sign $10,000?
How far from Daytona is it?
How far? Some of the expense too for the promoters is, first class flight and getting Kevin to he needs a hotel with the 24-hour room service usually. I don't know. I mean, maybe depends who it is too. I'm sure Kev works with promoters that. But I think it's a sliding scale, but there's a lot to consider.
In the ballpark, let's say it's on the East Coast of America in a weekend that he's not otherwise booked.
$2 million.
I was about to say under 100 for sure. Well under 100 for sure, right?
Oh yeah, no. Listen,
probably under 50.
We're not. You're not booking us in the Garden, right? So we know the types of venues it's going to be. You're going to have to make your money, but again, I don't know. Is he signing figures? Is there a meet and greet? Is there other stuff involved? I don't know.
Is it just 2 hours of his time? Like, are you
right? Are we just getting on stage doing this for 2 hours and that's it?
Is it the Italian restaurant in Daytona that he likes anyway?
Yeah, actually, that'd be a good place. Probably get a meal. I wanted to try it.
I've seen pictures. It looks really, really good. Edgar Watson actually and ask Steve favorite wrestling match
you
and
take
why. I have two that are always neck and neck for me. One is kind of obvious and I think a little, I don't want to say poserish, but like the Shawn Michaels the Shawn Michaels Bret Hart Iron Man match. Like, if you just really need to just explain to somebody all the things that wrestling is, I think that match just explains it all. The storytelling, it's almost like a soccer match in that way. It's the back and forth and like the real life story behind the two of them at that point before it and then at that point after. Like, I think that's a bit of a nexus point in pro wrestling, and then also Born to Be Wired in ECW. But like, just to really show how polarizing a wrestling fan I am, those are my two favorite wrestling matches. Edgar Watson also wants to know, ask Sean, what about a book on wrestling fans by fans written by you? Do you want to write another book, Sean?
Yeah, always, but I don't know who would read that. Maybe wrestling fans would read it. I don't know. I'd have to think of the angle, Edgar. I never say no to an idea off the bat, because I think every idea in the hands of the right artist could be something interesting. A book on wrestling fans by you. I could probably have fun with that. I'd have to scour the country to find the most interesting fans to profile. But yeah, I mean, I think that might be interesting. From the banker to the butcher to the baker, the candlestick maker.
But like, if you
all different walks of life, and
so if you had a book that was, let's say, the 500 types of wrestling fan, maybe not, but maybe you're not actually, or the 100 types of wrestling fan.
Right, and I'd have to find the bucket, right? I'd have to define each, basement dweller, likes to write nasty things to Meltzer 12 hours a day, yeah.
And like, also, green shirt guy, he's become a thing now. He sits front row at all the current WWE shows, and as we saw recently, like, front row at this upcoming SummerSlam for 2 nights, I want to say is like $30,000 or $40,000. And whoever green shirt guy is, he's paying that to be at all the shows.
So I couldn't spotlight him, but the type
of,
and that type is fan that wants to be on the card but can't wrestle. So
but then you would have to look into if they even see themselves that way.
It doesn't matter if they do. Like, my dog doesn't know she's a dog. I do, but she doesn't, and he doesn't either. He thinks he's part of the show, I think.
Or like Straw Hat guys.
Remember the ECW guy? I was just going to say. So they were made part of the show by ECW, but they wanted to be part of the show. They could have done things a little differently. Sign guy, etc.
Ivan Garcia, have you followed the Hulk Hogan story where he calls Shelton Benjamin Shelton?
No.
He was doing... all right. He was doing some press for Real American